Howdy y'all, Considerable Bulk here, doing something very, very different today. I am responding to something that's been happening in the community. Some allegations have been levelled at me and they are not true. The very short version of what everything's about is Cobainevermind has the erroneous belief that I have spent the last 12 to 18 months grooming members of his stream to come over and join mine. Now, in the bulk tradition of just not wanting to swear in public, there's only one thing that I have really to say about that idea, and that is, So, a little brief synopsis of what has gone down very publicly, and these are things I can mention because they happen publicly and live on stream and also in community messages. It was said that Bulk ain't coming back to Cobainevermind's stream, that no one minds if someone goes and does their own thing, but to deliberately do so and start at exactly the same time seemed very suspicious. And then a community message went out suggesting that leechers are going to leech. Leecher in this case meaning someone that does no work and sucks the life out of someone else's hard work. This made me very, very, very disappointed in what I had heard. So why was there a crossing of the streams? And as everyone knows, you never cross the streams. The short answer is, I'm busy. I'm a busy person. And I streamed at the times that I could, because that was the time that I had. So let me introduce you, viewers, to a couple of very good reasons as to why I might choose to stream at the times that I would stream. Bulk Jr.
Howdy, yo!
And Bulk Jr. Jr. You say hello? No?
No.
Great. Anyway, these wonderful people need to go to bed before I can stream. And I have a very busy lifestyle. Once I've gotten these two outside, I'm going to break it down for you. Stay tuned. Now, clearly, the names and identities have been changed to protect the innocent. They are now happily playing. Anywho, for those who don't know, I am a family man with 2 children, a wife, a house some call Bulkingham Palace. My profession that I chose to devote the rest of my life to is that of a karate instructor. Now, how does this impact on your time? Let's start with the karate instructing. I teach mainly in the evenings because that's when people can come to a karate club. My classes will finish every day around 9 or 9:30 in the evening. I then have to travel home, have some dinner, and choose what I do to chill out afterwards. That by this time it is usually about 9:30, 10, 10:30, sometimes even approaching 11 o'clock by the time I finish my day. Now, where I'm also having to put 2 children to sleep, that impacts on my time. Surely people can see that. in this week in particular, I've had to put both of the boys to bed and ensure that they are completely asleep so that they don't wake up in the middle of the night, come down those stairs and go, "Daddy Bulk, what's all the noise?" Because I'll be down here laughing and joking and whatnot on my mic to you viewers. On top of that, I have a family to run and my profession to continue. That takes up my daytime. My work takes up my evening times as well as my daytimes, leaving what downtime I did used to have to start around 10 to 11 in the evening. That's just my schedule. So, if viewers, I've chosen to stream at a particular time, that is simply because that is the time that I could stream. I never went out of my way to deliberately try to sabotage somebody else's hard work. End of story. So that's enough of the brief explanations about why bulk does bulk things. I'm now going to, viewers, go through the detailed reasons as to why bulk does bulk things on stream and on YouTube. I hope you're sitting comfortably and are prepared for an earful. So, as we've established, I am a family man. First, I have a Mrs. Bulk whom I work with every day to try and fully deserve. I have 2 wonderful children in Bulk Junior and Bulk Junior Junior who I'm doing my very best to try and bring into this world with the right possible start. I have also a full-time profession which involves me giving my time and experience to try and better other people, especially young people. This takes up all of my week, as I have already explained this to cobainevermind. It takes up my weekend time most of the year, because in something like karate, you'll always have extra training, you'll always have extra seminars, you'll always have competitions that I would need to be at, or to referee, to coach. Even though I no longer actively compete, I've retired from competition. It's now the kids' turn. Let's get the next generation going. So with all of that being said, there was a point in my personal life that I was looking for something to do in my downtime. At the time, my eldest, Bulk Junior, had turned 4 years old and was sleeping through the night, and I'd found that I'd gotten some time on my hands. I started looking at YouTube, and the first video of interest that hooked me was some tournament footage of Sonic Fox versus somebody. He was Relentless Jason, I believe it was, or Unstoppable Jason. And it was on the old Combat Cups and Conquest series. Now, they were superb. I loved them because they were professionally done. There was professional casters there who made it lively and hype to watch. The action, the particular game that it was, Mortal Kombat X at the time, is, I still believe, a great spectator game. It's really fast paced. If you don't know what's going on, it's superb to watch. If you do know what's going on, it's superb to watch. That got me into watching this thing i.e. video game tournaments. Got me to watching that on YouTube. I didn't realise that this stuff was going on. I didn't realise this was a YouTubeable thing. I didn't realise people were making, investing a lot of time into doing online competition or offline competition. It was great to see, and I loved the fact that the community was the way it was. So all this spurred me on to buying a PlayStation 4 and to do some gaming. The first game I bought was Mortal Kombat XL. I also bought Dead or Alive 5 because I used to play Virtua Fighter, and you couldn't get a version of that for PlayStation 4. Anyway, that was the version I got. So they were the two games I bought, of which I really got into Mortal Kombat. I discovered that I wasn't that bad eventually after my first 1,000 matches, which I lost online. I improved and whatever, and started bumping into players like cobainevermind. One day I messaged him and said, look, I noticed you used a different character on me from what you normally do, and why is that? I hope everything's okay, GG's. And he messaged back and said, hey, well, I've got this stream, did you want to come and have a look? And I did. I joined in, and I found that it was a place that I liked to be in, and still do. There's a level of mutual respect amongst the people in the chat. There's no toxicity because the moderators do a superb job of weeding out anything that might be toxic. And it was an environment that was nice to just chill out in for a couple of hours of an evening. Now we get to the point where I started to get frustrated that the content on YouTube was not always what I wanted to watch. At this point, my Bulk Jr. and Bulk Jr., they were beginning to look over Daddy Bulk's shoulder at what he was watching on YouTube, and I would have to be very, very careful to make sure they don't start listening to abusive people online, or to someone being accused of being a so-and-so masher, spammer, X, Y, and Z, all the names under the sun. So I got frustrated by that, and I started to make some content that I, as a parent, wouldn't mind my own children watching. To this day, they absolutely love watching bulk videos and the other stuff that we do, the bulkathon, the bulk casts. They love watching those because my main motivation for making them was that I would like to have something on YouTube that I can give them and say, hey, did you want to occupy yourself with some screen time? Why don't you watch this instead of accidentally stumbling on the Momo challenge or watching toys decapitate and poop each other, which is all out there. And as a parent, I was shocked when I saw my own children looking at stuff on YouTube that I wouldn't want them to see. Before we continue, viewers, forgive me. The reason why there are so many crash edits in this video is because when the boys make a bit of noise, then I have to start again. But I'm now down to my final clip, so this has to be done in one take for the rest of the video. If there is any additional noise from Bulk Jr. and Bulk Jr., please just forgive it, as I can't actually do anything editorially about it anymore. Anyhow, about a year ago, I was in messaging with both cobainevermind and the Peddler 90 about ideas that I'd had to grow the channel. I wanted the place where I had been choosing to spend a lot of my evening downtime on YouTube to become better and bigger. Now, without trying to say, hey, look at me, that's what I personally do as a human being. It's why I am a full-time karate instructor by profession, by choice, because I am built to try and help people and make the world a better place for them. That's just what I do. Again, I'm not trying to say, hey, look at me, check me out. No, that's just what I do. And if you ask cobainevermind or the Peddler 90, they'll tell you those messages happened. Now, the response from these ideas that I'd had was very good. Unfortunately, at the time, no action happened, and that's just the way these things go. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Maybe the ideas weren't that great. Anyhow, move the clock forward. Bulk videos that I'd been putting out there just because I enjoyed the process. It kept me occupied for a couple of hours an evening. I enjoyed the process. I enjoyed doing the funny accents. I enjoyed doing quotes from famous people, etc., etc. It's just stuff that I enjoyed doing. We now had started to gather a very small but very dedicated audience for it. And that shocked the heck out of me. Why would anyone like what I've produced? Well, it turns out some people did, and I was thrilled about that. And now all of a sudden I'm making content on a more regular basis for these people, for the enjoyment of these other people, and because they enjoyed coming back to them and they were asking me, when are you going to do the next video, etc., etc. And I was happy to fill the void and put that material out there if that's something they wanted to consume on YouTube, knowing the frustrations I'd had with stuff I wanted to consume on YouTube. I was more than happy to keep producing this stuff, and I still am, and I'm going to in MK11, and then once that's settled down, I'd like to do so for other games like Street Fighter, old school Street Fighter 2, maybe a bit of Tekken, what have you, who knows, if I have the time. Now, we're producing videos for that, and before Christmas I put it out there, hey, viewers, thanks for watching, is there anything you'd like to see? Do you want to see bulk face? Do you want to see this? Do you want to see that? Etc., etc. Do you want to see new characters? I think I put down. And the response was superb. So we started doing some camera trials in the new year. They went really well. I couldn't believe how well they had gone down. And then I was talking to Iroquois1908, whom I message pretty much every day. And we were talking about the ideas I'd spoken to with the Peddler 90 and cobainevermind, including doing things for, well, not including, but exclusively doing things within this community for the benefit of this community. We have, in some small pockets of our fighting game community, some incredibly toxic aspects and people and behaviour that's not healthy. And we were trying to figure out ways of trying to present something that's also more positive. Because yes, you have all the trash talking and the toxicity. Let's have some balance that isn't professionally run, tens of thousands of dollars thrown at it production-wise, tournament footage, but actually something that's homegrown for the benefit of the people whom we know. So we put together the Bulkathon group, and they are made up of players, particularly young players, whom I personally know are still in school, still in college, in the early days of their working lives, or players like myself who are incredibly older. Actually, I think I'm the oldest of the bunch, but who are incredibly older and just enjoy doing what they do. So we put together all these players who are not your sponsored, blue chip sponsored professional players flying around the world trying to gain points to enter some kind of NetherRealm Studios final end of the world tournament in December. Players essentially over the last year and a half, couple of years, whom we respect for the way they play and conduct themselves afterwards. If you message them and say GG's, they'll message back and say, yeah, that was really cool, man, or whatever. They're not the kind of people to go and trash talk you. They're not the kind of people to go and rage quit on you. These are people whom we respect and feel deserve, for their playing talent and their attitude, to have a bit more exposure given towards them. I can hear Bulk Junior and Bulk Junior getting on really well upstairs. Let's hope they're not trash talking each other. Anyway, getting back to that, we have put together this group, and the onus was to show YouTube, and I hope that people share it out there and get more popularity involved, that to show them out there to the broader community, instead of just randomly bumbling into them online when you go into ranked or go into casuals. So we've developed Bulkathon, and the whole idea was it was going to be myself and Iraklis and other people get on the mics and just commentate on these other players doing their thing. Then we talked about doing Bulkcast, a podcast thing. It was something that we wanted to do. We have older people in the group, and it's nice to have that experience there. People who did play Street Fighter 2 when it first came out, Mortal Kombat 1 when it first came out, and all of the games in between, and the Tekkens and the Virtua Fighters and all this, this, that and the other. Whether in the arcades themselves when they were still a thing, or at home on their Super Nintendos or their Sega Mega Drives or whatever. So we've got more experienced people, and we've got a bunch of young people too, and it's great to hear all those opinions to help strengthen the community that's already there. It's just us trying to do our bit. Now we've got a cash tournament where I and Iraklis are putting in some personal money into doing so, to give to the winner, to make it worth something, make it worth their while to give up their evening to enter. And that's happening this evening, and I hope that we get people to watch it, at least even watch the rewatch it when it gets published on YouTube, because it's going to be sensational. We've got incredible players there. Watch them. They're amazing. They make the dying days of Mortal Kombat X, they're going to make it worthwhile watching and having experienced it, and you can say, well, yeah, I know what they were doing. I've been there myself. Anyway, how to wrap all of this up? Where we're at is, that's my motivations for starting to do the things that we're doing, and I'm only streaming now because it's a way of getting the Bulkathon and the Bulkcast and the community tournaments out there. And if we have other side projects, they'll also probably be streamed as well. I'm still going to be doing the bulk videos simply because I know that both Junior and Junior really do like watching them, as do our dedicated people. Now finally, and again I'm conscious that I'm trying to do all of this in one take and not make a mistake, because I would not want to go back and re-record all this. Finally, I want to address the allegations and the wrong beliefs that are currently being held and the stuff that's being thrown around. First of all, it's going to sound odd having done now a 24 minute video about all this. First of all, I don't actually care. I am a husband and father first. I am a professional karate instructor second. Those two things on their own take up my life. I have a tiny amount of spare time that I've chosen to fill with playing video games, because that's something that I also enjoy doing, as well as other stuff, but it's something that I enjoy doing. And that has led, as I've detailed in probably far too greater detail, to where we're at right now, where I have an active YouTube channel. But the first things first. In all of those things, being a family man and a professional, having a professional career, having a profession rather, as my full-time career, having all of that, can anyone out there seriously suggest to me that building a YouTube empire is anywhere high up on my list of life priorities? The answer is less than 0. Having 1,000, 2,000, 10,000, 1,000,000 YouTube subscribers, honestly, I couldn't care less. We have an audience. I'm glad that there's an audience out there to consume the stuff that we're producing. I'm still going to be championing these younger players, these older players who are online but don't get the chance to go and compete in these professional tournaments themselves, so that people don't know about them. I'm still passionate about doing that because I want to help them. If it's something that they want to do, to get further on in a particular video game, that's something I want to facilitate in doing. I want to help them do that. But building a YouTube empire, I wish there was a NetherRealm Studios way of saying something that is less than 0. Less than 0. What's Mortal Kombat and less than 0? Anyway, it will come to me. So yes, first of all, I'm not interested. Second, if my motivation for running a stream deliberately at the same time as someone else has started their stream so that I can steal hard-earned viewers, and I don't want to be unfair with my tone, because I think that the situation ultimately is one of lack of communication. I'm not trying to say anything, and I haven't said anything bad about cobainevermind or anything that goes on. I hope in the last half an hour you'll have seen how I feel about it. I feel very positive about the work that he does. Anyway, if I'd wanted to steal a bunch of viewers, why would I do so by streaming at exactly the same time? Because people are going to make a choice. I would. Do I want to watch A or do I want to watch B? Do I want to watch A stream or do I want to watch bulk stream? That's the choice I would have to make. So, with all things being equal, the best I could hope for, if that was my motivation, which it isn't, but if that was my motivation, would be that half of the viewers might come to me and half would stay. Now, that just seems silly. It wouldn't be the right thing. It wouldn't be from a tactical point of view. That's the wrong decision to make. And as much as I say I'm a bit dumb, I'm not a stupid person. If I was trying to poach members, again, which I'm not, then I wouldn't do so by streaming at the precisely wrong time to do so. I've maintained and I've messaged cobainevermind that the intention, if I was ever to stream, was to provide a feeder of people that might come into my channel to be sent to his channel. And he was like, you don't have to worry about that, it's not a concern. Bottom line is, that's what I started to do because I want to help cobainevermind's channel flourish, and there are now members of his channel who were introduced to his channel because of me. Maybe they would have found it anyway, eventually. One would hope so, because it would flourish and it would come up on everybody's YouTube feeds. But the fact is that they're there because I told them to go there. I suggested strongly in private messages, on stream, to go in videos, to go and have a look at cobainevermind's channel. And they're there now as a result, I believe, of that work. So, There's a lot of other things that could be said. I'm not going to, because I'm conscious that I have to do this in one take and I can't remember everything, perhaps, that I had to say. But I think I've covered pretty much everything. Takeaway points. I'm a busy person. As much as I want to help, if I've said that I'm going to do something, and remember, it's not just me streaming, and it would never just be about me streaming. I don't personally want to do that. But where we have a community group of now in excess of 20 people, 20 players, and I tell them we're going to stream at 9:30, 10 o'clock UK time, and I'm rushing from a karate class that finishes at 9 to get here, hope that the children, junior and junior, are in bed and asleep and not going to walk down the steps and disturb what we're doing, then, you know, if I start a little bit later because there's traffic on the road, or I have to deal with a student or some issues that happen at class, I might have to speak to a student's parent or something like that about something that's coming up, or whatever it may be, then I hope people can understand that I won't necessarily be able to start earlier like I wanted to. Sometimes life gets in the way, people. I hope you can understand that. Secondly, it's not my intention to build an unstoppable juggernaut of a YouTuber behemoth with the bulk channel. For the benefit of the people that we're trying to raise up, that would be sensational. Because if there is any YouTube revenue to come from the activity that we're doing, guess where we can plough that? We can say, hey, talented 16-year-old who's been competing in Bulkathon every week, who's been doing the community tournaments, you are a sensational talent but probably don't have the opportunity to travel to Austria or to Ireland to compete in Viennality or in Celtic Throwdown in the game that you absolutely adore with all of your heart. Would you like us to pay for your travel and accommodation? And a supervisor, because you'll be under 18. Wouldn't that be great? At these days, at this stage in the game, I'm not particularly worried about that, because at the moment it's being financed through anything that we do like that would be financed out of my pocket. And I'm not going out of my way to build a YouTube empire. So, you know, all of this stuff, it hurts me to hear it. I'm disappointed that final point, no one spoke to me. You know what friends do? If something goes wrong, you pick up the phone, or you send a message, you just go, hey, what's going on? And I thought that's what friends do for each other. Now, I could have, and I have tried, I've sent messages to cobainevermind. No response. In fact, I've been unfriended and whatnot. Now, I could have tried to go on some kind of crusade against cobainevermind. There's a grudge. There's some beef. Let's sort this grudge out. Let's have a grudge match, 1st to 20. There isn't any beef, so one, I wouldn't want to do that, and two, that's not going to happen because there's no reason to have it. Dude, you could have spoke to me. You chose not to. You chose to assume wrongly and believe the internal chatter that was telling you bulk is trying to do you over. I'm not. And I hope that if anyone gets to watch all of this video, you'll realise That's just not me. Anyway, I've talked enough. So, I've managed to do the last 20 minutes in one take. GG's everybody. I hope to see you in future stuff that we do. And if the streams cross, I'm sorry. That's just timings. Anyway, GG's everybody, and ciao for now.